All right. Welcome, everybody. Before we start, let's do a quick show of hands. Who in the audience mostly relies on low-code or no-code tools? Anybody? Okay, a couple of hands, modest hands, thank you. Who spends at least a couple of hours a day, every day coding? Right, I knew I was coming to a developer conference. I was told that. And last question, who wishes they could spend more time every day on the parts of work that they actually enjoy? Yeah? All of us, don't we? All right, cool, thank you, folks. I want to make sure that everybody in the audience can get something out of this talk. My name is Vera Serdukova, and I'm a senior product manager at Salesforce AI Research. And I'm really excited to talk to you about our vision for the next generation coding experience with AI. AI-enabled software development is a huge topic, but we only have 20 minutes today. So for the sake of this talk, we'll focus on three aspects: the why, the what, and a snippet of the how Salesforce AI Research is paving the way toward the next generation coding experience with AI. By the end of this presentation, you will know how AI is trailblazing software development and is pushing boundaries of what software development experience can be. You'll also know how it can make your experience more efficient, gratifying, and effective. I'll also tell you about the tools that we're making available to you today as a step towards this transformation. All right, with that, let's get started. And let me actually share a joke with you. Two people meet in an elevator. One says, "What do you do?" "I write code." "Okay, and what do you do for fun?" "I write code." "All right, and what do you do to relax?" "I write code." "Okay, is there a time you do not write code?" "Yeah, sure." "Okay, and what do you do then?" "Well, I debug code." This is meant in good fun, but I think this joke reveals a fundamental truth. As glamorous as coding sounds, the stress is that writing good software involves a lot of grunt work. And no matter whether you prefer low code or pro code style, you know that it takes a lot of time and effort to create good software. And there are many pain points along the way. While creating a solution and restructuring it might sound like theoretically the most challenging parts of the process, we hear that many of you wear multiple hats. And it might feel just extremely restricting not to be able to translate your business requirements into code, or understand what the existing code is meant to be doing, for example, when the documentation is sparse. We also know that it might feel ridiculous not to be able just to look up the code that you suspect exists already and reuse it. Yeah, I can see some nods. We also know that many of you are conflicted on what is the right test to write and when to run it, especially when you folks have to deal with development practices that are unique to Salesforce or your company. And of course, most of you are not amused when you have to look for bugs and vulnerabilities, identify their root causes, and more importantly, fix all of those without breaking anything along the way. So today, as we lift the curtain of our vision for the next generation coding experience with AI, we will show you how the next generation coding experience can not just supercharge your experience, but also alleviate many of these pains. No matter whether you are just learning your ropes and making first steps in software development, or perhaps you are adapting your existing skill set to software development practices that are unique to Salesforce, Or maybe you have mastered all that already, yet you hate wasting time on some of these menial, tedious tasks and would rather invest your time into truly meaningful work. We'll strive to support you along your journey. With that, let's get started. And I'll start by a completely unrelated attention getter that will help make sense of all of it. One-click solutions is a notion that has been popularized in our pop culture. From making friends, to buying stuff, to booking vacation. One click is everywhere. However, regardless of whether you are a software development newbie or a pro, you know that building good software is not that. It is not one click. It's a process, right? So today, I would like to share a snippet of what future development experience might look like. I am not going to promise you some magic button that will completely substitute your development work with a single click. No, I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'll show you a few inexhaustive ways AI could support you in your journey and can take care of some of the most vexing parts of software development so that you could spend more time on the truly gratifying and creative parts of software development. To be more specific, at the design stage, AI could suggest optimal architecture to support your business requirements. It could also help automatically restructure code to make it more expandable and adaptable. For implementation, code generation will empower you in the situation when you know what you want to achieve, but are not quite sure how to express it in code. Code generation will translate your requirements from plain English into executable code so that you can, first of all, achieve your goals, but also learn from the suggestions. Code summarization will do the opposite for you. It will come in handy when you would like to understand what the existing code is meant to be doing. It will translate code into sentences. This might be particularly useful when the code is not well maintained and the documentation is not sufficient. Now, let me ask you all, who has heard of Stack Overflow? Stack Overflow? Okay. Anybody using it at least weekly? Weekly? All right. Daily? Anybody? Okay. I knew I have my people here. Now, wouldn't it be amazing to be able to leverage the knowledge of the developer community, or perhaps even your company, seamlessly as you code? Code search is just like an intelligent built-in search engine that could retrieve pieces of existing code to make it more reusable, but even more importantly, to eliminate duplicate work. Sounds good, huh? Now, next question for you all. Who uses Gmail Smart Compose feature, the one that makes suggestions on the next thing to say? Yeah? Yeah. Well, personally, I use it all the time. Autocomplete is not a new thing when it comes to software development, right? You all have seen it in IDs. Nevertheless, all of us know that it tends to be pretty limiting. Well, guess what? AI can take it to a whole new level, suggesting not just full snippets of code, but also things such as comments, for example, so that you can code way faster with fewer keystrokes and learn from the suggestions along the way. Now, for testing, here AI could make suggestions on the optimal tests for your needs. Anti-pattern would identify bad coding style that might lead to poor code performance. Similarly, bug and vulnerability detection will flag code with security and or implementation concerns. And perhaps even more importantly, help to identify root causes for those. So ultimately, we envision supporting you folks along your journey. This is a non-exhaustive list, just a few snippets of what can be possible. And depending on your role, some of these capabilities might feel more relevant than the others. That's okay. It is just a snippet. What I want to tell you is that when we at Salesforce AI Research think of the next generation coding experience, we want to make sure that none of you are left behind. So far, I've been talking about our motivation for and vision of the next generation coding experience with AI. How about we move to a less fluffy part of this talk, okay? And talk about the specific ways Salesforce AI Research is turning this vision into reality. You know, there is this adage that says that an image is worth 1,000 words, or something like that. Well, you've been very patient and very kind listening to me for the past 10 minutes. Now I feel like I should pay you back by showing you what we actually have in works for you. And again, we have limited time today, so I'll show you only a couple of snippets of our existing projects in the AI-enabled software space. Our first stop is CodeGen. We have built a machine learning model called CodeGen that can make coding as easy as talking. CodeGen can generate executable code based on simple text prompts. Now, let me show you a demo. Here, you'll see how CodeGen can act as a coding assistant, helping the user, the developer, translate business requirements in plain English into actual code. Let's roll the film.
Imagine a world where coding is as easy as talking, where you don't write a computer program, you just tell the machine what kind of program you want, and the machine generates the code for you. Well, now you can. We developed a model that lets humans and machines have a dialogue to write a program together. It's called CodeGen. We call this new coding paradigm conversational AI programming, as natural language understanding coupled with code generation. CodeGen takes English sentences as input and outputs working code to solve problems. In this demo, we will create an entire app from beginning to end without any coding, simply by having a conversation in English with CodeGen. The app we will create is a classic game called Snake. The game will allow the user to control a virtual snake to try and collect as many food points as possible. We will create all of the components of the app from scratch, except for the game engine and execution environment, which are provided as external dependencies. Examples like this demonstrate the potential of the CodeGen model to be used on low-code platforms for app development, or to create workflow and business processes. In our demo, the interactive interface is on the bottom left, and our game engine environment is on the right. We start by asking CodeGen to create a white snake represented as a sequence of 6 blocks. Put it in the lower left, and show its length in the upper left. When the code is executed, you can see the snake appear on screen in the game environment, as well as its length. For the sake of time, we'll fast forward the steps of creating user keyboard controls to manipulate the snake, ending the game on collision with the map border, randomly positioning food across the map, and implementing point increments when the food is consumed. We can now see the result. CodeGen has built a minimal snake game, which runs directly in the browser and can be controlled by the keyboard. To see other demos and to learn more about how CodeGen works, visit salesforceairesearch.com.
Thank you, thank you. Well, this applause definitely go to my teammates who did build this. But thank you, folks. This is pretty amazing, isn't it? And the notion of it is that with CodeGen, one does not need to write code by hand. They can describe what the code needs to be doing, and CodeGen would produce executable code for them. With CodeGen, we want to empower users to solve real business problems using simple text prompts. I'm proud to share that with up to 16 billion parameters, CodeGen is actually beating OpenAI's Codex model on human eval benchmark. For those of you who are not so familiar with OpenAI and Codex, let me just tell you that that is state of the art, that was state of the art, that used to be state of the art. So what we're doing with CodeGen, that's really the top of the top in the field. That's the cutting edge technology, and we're really proud not just to create it, but also to evangelize it. We see CodeGen as a way to democratize software development, to make it available to a broader pool of users, and to make sure that we're not just, talking the talk, but also walking the walk. I'm really happy to announce that we have actually open sourced CodeGen. That's right. CodeGen is available on GitHub. You can check it out at github.com/salesforce/CodeGen. You can also learn more about it in our new AI Explained video on Salesforce Developer channel. We want to make sure that it's not just us, a group of researchers at Salesforce, but it's also a broader community who can benefit from this technology. All right, I have talked about CodeGen and how we see it as the way to democratize software development by reducing this friction rate and by allowing people to code with simple text commands. Our next stop is Apex Guru, where I'll show you how we are improving testing and reshaping what testing might look like. Apex Guru uses AI to automatically identify anti-patterns and hotspots. Now, why does it matter? Apex Guru does not just proactively make suggestions on how to improve performance and robustness of your code. What it does, it makes sure that your code and your application as a whole become more scalable. And it also helps to significantly decrease the cost to serve. So it's not just about the quality of the code. It's about real business implications. I'm thrilled to share that Apex Guru is already in the pilot stage. It means that real Salesforce customers are already benefiting from it. And just to give you an idea, take one of our customers. It's an Indian private sector bank. Thanks to Apex Guru's recommendations on performance optimization with low overhead for their orgs, they have managed to reduce average CPU time by 57 to 73%. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that their top Apex points run this much faster. It means that their top orgs just perform way better and are way more scalable. And for a huge organization that they are, it results into significantly high experience for their users, as well as business impact for them as the org. This year, we're looking to productize Apex Guru. However, in the meantime, you too can benefit from it and become an early adopter. If you're interested, please shoot us a line at swati.majumdar@salesforce.com, and please become a part of this revolution. Whew. That's been a lot of material to digest, and I'm looking at my time that is running out. So, folks, I know it's been a lot. We've talked about the motivations, why we at Salesforce AI Research are inspired to work on the next generation coding experience with AI. I have given you a glimpse of what this future might look like, and have shown you a couple of examples of how we're already reshaping software development as we know it today. I'm really grateful to all of you for joining me at this talk. I hope that you have learned something new, and I would really encourage you to visit us at salesforceresearch.com and follow us on Twitter at sfresearch to learn more about CodeGen, Apex Guru, and about a gazillion of other innovations that are happening in our group. And before I take this mic off, let me just also encourage you to check out Red Women Group. This is an incredible community-driven group that teaches female admins how to code. Currently, they are recruiting a new cohort of coaches. If you're interested in becoming one and contributing to this incredible community, please check them out. With that, thank you all. Thank you for your attention, and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.